When you write rhetorical analysis, do you know that your commentary is cooked and you know you should analyze evidence, but you just end up repeating the same vague phrases over and over? Are you hiding your commentary and your thinking behind weak language when your friend Gwennifer is absolutely flexing her analytical skills and getting high grades?
Welcome back to the Rhetorical Analysis Mastery Series. In parts 1 through 5, we built the complete framework, from reading prompts to writing conclusions that zoom out to broader stakes. Today in part 6, you'll master commentary as your opportunity to showcase sophisticated analytical thinking. No more hiding behind vague language. You'll carry your thinking forward from evidence to show exactly how it supports your claims. Yes. We'll be continuing to work from the 2025 Rhetorical Analysis prompt about Raquel Vasquez Gilliland's essay, Go Outside, Sink Your Feet into the Dirt, that we use throughout the series. Now, let's write commentary that makes the AP readers notice your big brain. Yes! Commentary isn't where you just kind of randomly say things about things that you saw in the text. Commentary is where you show that big brain. Don't waste this opportunity by hiding behind vague language. This is your moment to flex your analytical skills and make your entire analysis persuasive by showing every step of your thinking. If the thinking is not in your commentary, your reader can't see it. They might be able to try to figure out what it is, but it's going to frustrate them, and they might not be entirely sure that the thinking is there. Your commentary has 3 jobs. 1 is interpret your evidence. In other words, what does this specific choice do? Number 2, connect that interpretation to your claim. How does this support what you argued? If you're writing your topic sentences correctly, this is connecting back to your topic sentences claim about the rhetorical choice and how it persuades. Step 3, show how it works in this particular rhetorical situation. Why does this choice succeed with this specific audience? 95% of writers skip number 3 and they don't show how the persuasion works in this rhetorical situation. In missing this, they're missing a chance to show sophisticated thinking about how rhetoric works in complex environments. When you carry your thinking forward through all 3 steps, you're not just analyzing, you're demonstrating sophisticated understanding about how rhetoric actually works. Strong commentary doesn't just make claims about effectiveness, it shows the analytical thinking that you've done and improves your understanding of deep rhetoric. Here are some rules about how to write great commentary. 1. Use literal, objective language only. Stop hiding your analytical skills behind figurative language and vague phrases when you write. This paints a picture or this pulls at your heartstrings. You're not showing your thinking. You're covering it up with abstract language that no reader could possibly understand. You're covering it up with vague language that no matter how much your reader tries to pull it up and tries to get behind it to understand it, they can't do it because it's too vague. So avoid phrases like, this paints a vivid picture, the author pulls at heartstrings, this hits home with readers, this imagery resonates. Instead, show analytical thinking, right? This visual imagery creates immediacy. This personal anecdote arouses sympathy. This metaphor makes the abstract concepts concrete by blank. Or, the sensory details evoke physical comfort. Why does this matter? Because vague language makes it look like you don't understand your own analysis. Precise, objective language shows pre-readers that you know exactly what you're writing about. 3. Be specific about effects. Your big brain can do better than phrases like creates emotional connection. Show your analytical skills by identifying the exact choice the rhetoric produces. Vague writing might say, this imagery creates emotion. Specific language would say, this tactile imagery arouses comfort and safety. One of these is right, one of them is wrong. The first one is wrong, and the second one is the only one that is right. If you're writing like the first example, you're doing it wrong. The key is precision. Don't settle for general terms when you can identify the exact response the author's trying to create. 4. Make connections to the rhetorical situation. Now comes your sophistication moment, showing why this specific effect works for this specific audience. This is where you demonstrate understanding of how rhetoric actually works. Take your specific effect and explain why it solves this rhetorical problem. Here's some basic thinking. The tactile imagery makes nature feel real. Here's sophisticated thinking. The tactile command sink your bare feet counters urban readers' tendency to intellectualize wellness rather than experience it physically, directly addressing their barrier of overthinking that prevents initial engagement with nature practices. This shows you understand the speaker-audience relationship and why the specific rhetorical choices work to overcome this specific rhetorical challenge. 5. Make commentary persuasive. Strong commentary doesn't just state conclusions. It persuades your reader by showing every step of analytical reason. When you carry your thinking forward from evidence to purpose, you make your analysis convincing. In other words, make sure you're moving from evidence to effect to purpose and then back to the claim of your topic sentence. Think of commentary as making the case from your reader. It says, hey, here's what the author does, here's the specific effect it creates, here's why that effect works for this audience, and here's how all of it supports my claim about the author's rhetorical strategy. Your reader should be able to follow your thinking step by step and say, yes, I see exactly how this writer reached this conclusion. I love them. Yes. Here's some questions you can ask yourself that'll help you write commentary that is clocked. What specific mental or emotional response does this rhetorical choice create in readers? Don't just say emotion. Identify exact feelings: fear, comfort, urgency, curiosity, trust, thirst. 2. Why would this specific response help persuade this audience? Connect the effect to the audience's specific situation, needs, or challenges. In other words, what barrier does this response overcome? Question 3. How does overcoming this barrier advance the author's overall persuasive goal? Show how this specific choice solves a specific problem in service of a larger argument. When you can answer all 3 of these questions, you're ready to write commentary that shows your big brain. Here are 3 student examples from cooked to better to clocked. Gilliland uses imagery to connect with readers. The imagery about dirt and feet is very descriptive and paints a picture in the reader's mind. This imagery is effective because it appeals to emotions and helps people understand what she's talking about. The imagery makes readers want to go outside, which shows that her writing works. This is completely cooked. It's hiding behind vague phrases like paints a picture, it has repetitive language, no specific effects are identified, and it has circular reasoning that doesn't show any analytical thinking. Here's our next example. Gilliland employs tactile imagery to make nature connection feel achievable. She instructs readers to sink your bare feet in a patch of dirt, creating sensory engagement that moves beyond intellectual understanding to help readers imagine physical connections to nature. This physical imagery helps urban readers imagine actually participating in nature practices rather than just reading about them, making her advice feel more practical and accessible. This is better. It shows some analytical thinking and avoids the worst vague language, but it's still not carrying the thinking forward to show why this specific strategy works for this specific audience's challenges. Here's our clocked example. Gilliland employs tactile imagery to overcome urban readers' tendency to approach wellness intellectually rather than experientially. Here you see her directive, sink your bare feet in a patch of dirt, creates comforting physical engagement that bypasses the analytical mindset, countering New York Times readers' inclination to overthink wellness practices into paralysis. This sensory engagement serves Gilliland's rhetorical purpose by transforming abstract nature connection into concrete physical actions, addressing her audience's need for practical entry points that feel achievable within their time-pressed urban lifestyle. By demanding physical rather than intellectual response, Gilliland's imagery overcomes that specific barrier of analysis paralysis that prevents her target audiences from engaging with traditional wellness advice. Now that's clocked. It shows analytical thinking, carries reasoning forward through multiple steps, and demonstrates deep understanding of how rhetoric works in this specific situation. Remember, don't let these mistakes hide your analytical skills. Mistake 1, using figurative language to analyze instead of showing precise thinking. Mistake 2, repeating your claim instead of advancing your analytical reasoning. Mistake 3, not carrying your thinking forward from evidence to effect to purpose. Mistake 4, missing your sophistication opportunity by not showing how the persuasion works in this rhetorical situation. Remember, your commentary should showcase your analytical skills, not hide them. When you show understanding of how rhetorical choices work within specific situations, you demonstrate the mastery that separates legendary essays from basic ones. AP readers recognize sophisticated thinking when they see it, and sophisticated thinking shows precise analysis of rhetorical choices and effects, understanding of speaker-audience relationships. Now, you have all the tools to write rhetorical analysis that showcases sophisticated thinking from start to finish. From reading prompts strategically to writing commentary that flexes your analytical skills, in this series, you're ready to dominate any rhetorical analysis challenge. Remember, don't hide your big brain behind vague language and repetitive phrases. Show every step of your analytical thinking, carrying your reasoning forward from evidence to claims, and demonstrating sophisticated understanding of how rhetoric works. Drop a comment about something exciting you you learned today, or even with practice commentary using your sophisticated approaches. I'll give you feedback. Hit subscribe because now you've mastered complete rhetorical analysis process and you're ready to learn some more advanced writing lessons. Yes. Your analytical skills are your superpower. Showcase them. Don't hide them. Thanks for watching Zubafy. Come back for more Zubafy.